I remember, like, the first day we met, I said to you, you said to me, what are you going to talk about then? And I said, well, we want to talk about healthy practice, safe practice, that sort of thing. And I seem to think, I remember you saying, oh, that's cool. There are 3 major things you need to be thinking about. Am I dreaming that?
3 main things.
I was dreaming.
Yeah, I who knows what I said then.
Yeah.
I change my mind probably since
all
then
the
anyway.
time. So
regularly, I hope.
Yeah, which, yes, evolvement. If we want to, are there things that we should be thinking of alignment-wise, healthy practice-wise, as sort of globally maybe, that we take throughout our whole practice, just to make our practice as long and sustained as possible?
First and foremost is don't ignore things in your body that are talking to you.
Like pain.
Like pain.
Mm.
And, that's not as simple. It's an easy thing to say, but we've all had the experience of experiencing different types of pain and sensations in our body. So my general rule for it is things that are like in a very specific spot, pay really close attention to.
Yeah.
Things that are more generalized and broad, a little yellow flag goes up, but, just be mindful of it. And the other thing is not to fool yourself and think that, a very strong asana practice is only magically healing somehow, and that you can't possibly get injured doing it.
Because it's yoga.
Because it's yoga,
Yeah.
exactly. You can get injured very badly, in fact. So you need to listen to things. I'm not saying to not try. I'm not saying to not, put your energy in and, go for it. But go for it and also pay attention to what's coming back from your body, what it's saying to you. It might not even be while you're practicing.
Yeah.
If you're completely wiped out for the rest of the day, that might be telling you something, because the more that builds up, that leads to, injuries long term.
On injury side, and I'm sure it's probably the same on your website, one of the most hits we get is articles about yoga butt,
I had asked somebody what yoga butt was. I thought it was some new trend in the gym or something.
It's like getting your butt ready for the beach, so it's nice and beach shape. No.
Right. Lots of shalabhasana. Easy, no problem.
No, so for those that missed that bit, ischial tuberosity pain, so like where your sit bone is,
Right.
Pain on your sit bone. And why is it happening, potentially? Did you see any commonalities between the types of people it happens in? And B, what is the best way to deal with it once you got it? There's going to be other ways, but maybe from your experience.
Sure. I'll try to take the broadest point of view of this.
Cool.
Because there's not one specific cause anyway.
Yeah.
If you start to look for it as one specific, you're going to miss all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah.
One reason it happens, I think, is right side, left side dominance, tensional patterns that are just there naturally because we are right-handed or left-handed or right-sided or left-sided, if you will. And what often goes along with that is one side of our pelvis is naturally tilted more forward or backward than the other. So that creates tension in the hamstrings in a different way. Layered on top of that is the majority of activities that we do require us to use our hamstrings, because most of the activities we do involve walking or running. And now we're talking like the average everyday people who've built up tension over long periods of time, whether it be running or cycling or gymnastics, the whole list of things that we do. Hamstrings get tight. They're there for walking. That's what they were designed, and running. That's what they were designed to be for. So if they're tight and we start doing a lot of forward bends, that can also irritate, the tendon at the end of the hamstring or on the bone itself, where the connective tissue wraps onto the bone. I've also found a lot of people who end up with pain in their sit bone from trigger points in the gluteus minimus muscle.
Okay. So that's sitting on the side of your hip.
Yeah,
here for
side of
anybody
your hip,
that's
quite deep.
Rusty.
Yeah, you can you can Google it.
Yeah.
Deep gluteals can also refer into there. There's other muscles that refer into that zone as well. Anyhow, so depending on which one of those causes it might be, we might do different things with those people.
Okay.
So if we determine that it's gluteals, maybe we do more pigeon, double pigeon stuff to stretch those tissues, for instance.
Yeah.
If it ends up being because of a torn hamstring, which is another
Yeah.
reason why you overstretch the hamstring in
Yeah.
one moment and it makes a nice popping noise and some pain is there. I have a whole article about this, but the number one common thing people do wrong in that particular situation
Yeah.
is to keep their knees bent when they're doing forward bends.
Yeah.
I say this with some caution because it doesn't mean that you should have really rigid legs and go super far after you tear your hamstring.
So perhaps explain why this thing about bending the knee is advised for people with, say, aggravated ischial tuberosities.
Well, it might be appropriate for other reasons,
Mm-hmm.
assuming it's not like a torn hamstring.
Okay.
Here's the thing: is you
Why
have
are we
to.
being told to do it in the first place?
Well, I think it seems logical that if you shorten the hamstrings, there's less tension on them.
So
Which-
by bending the knee,
By
We're
bending the
taking-
knee,
we're
you
taking
shorten
the
one
tension.
end of the
Yeah.
hamstring, but
The drawback?
the drawback is you lengthen the opposite end.
Hmm.
So when you bend the knee, when you've torn your hamstring near the ischial tuberosity,
Hmm.
you're actually loading more stretch into the torn end,
Hmm.
and you're avoiding stretching the other end.
Yeah.
So what I suggest is keep the legs straight, just don't go as deep.
Any activation going on
Yeah, on the front of the leg,
in front of the leg?
strongly.
Inner thighs?
Sure.
Okay.
Make sure the foot is straight and the
Yeah.
leg is straight as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes the sit bone pain is from adductor magnus tear.
Yes,
Yeah.
but they'll feel that slightly more medial, won't they?
Well, either that or the difference will be they feel the sit bone pain when they do a wide leg forward
leg.
bend, but not when they do it with their legs together.
So Upavishta Konasana,
Upavishta,
Prasarita,
Prasarita. If you feel it there, but not when you do Padangushtasana, it's adductor magnus, and then bending the knee doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Because they don't cross. So.
Yeah. You mentioned just now feet rolling out. I see that all the time. People with forward any sort of Janu Shasana and that leg's like over there somewhere. And is that just mindfulness, or will it actually alter the posture dynamically too? I mean, everybody seems to be able to just put it straight back. It doesn't seem to be that it's drawn out there through restriction.
Yeah.
It's just...
It's more like a lack of engagement that allows it to roll out. I think very naturally when we fold forward, the head of our femur likes to externally rotate a bit to make more space for the pelvis to come forward, and that's where it's coming from. But if we engage it, then
So just
it's straight.
awareness.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, just some awareness and attention to it. It's very common. And if somebody has particularly tight hamstrings, then
Yeah.
the body is also rotating the leg to avoid that tension.
Yeah. And
Unconsciously, of course.
on
not-
the other side of things, I quite often see people with their foot inverted, so with the sole of the foot more medially rotated towards the center, and then that seems harder for them to get it back. And also then when they do things like Ustrasana, and the feet are behind, it seems hard for them to get that little toe down on the floor. Is it,
Does the little toe have to be down?
well, if the foot is level?
I think I've been doing that wrong. On the first part of it,
Okay.
I think that comes back to that there's still tension in the hamstring,
Okay.
or secondarily the bone shape at the hip joint,
Okay.
which is one of the most variable.
Yeah.
That and the shoulder are the most variable
Yeah.
for bone shape.
I've seen images, and it's just like a tremendous amount of angle differences you can have in this way and that way.
Well, there's like 3 different angles actually coming together, and all of them have variability.
Mm.
So if you go to the extreme of all of them in your body, then you might never put your leg behind your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've got the socket,
Yeah.
which can tilt down or up or sideways or front, and then
Yeah.
you've got the angle of the head,
Yeah.
which can be of quite an angle, and then there's another angle going sideways.
Q angle.
Yeah, the Q angle, exactly. Q angle is the femur coming down.
Mm. But yeah, there's this too, isn't there? So
Yeah, and then there's
that,
the length,
this.
and there's the length of the
Yeah.
neck, which
Yeah.
is a factor as well.
Yeah.
But I think the foot rolling in, I think if you look closely, you'll find that the femur is externally rotated.
Okay.
And that's like the tension trying to like hold on.
And pull it back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Going back to Ustrasana,
Yeah.
pinky toe. Well, the femur and hip are in some way out of it because you bent the knee.
Yeah.
So then it's rotation of the lower leg anyway.
Okay. So when you were saying pinky toe doesn't need to be down?
Well,
Just seems to square the foot up. It gives you like a stable base or not.
What if you have a different shaped foot than the other person?
Snip a few toes off.
Take a toe off?
Yeah.
Put a toe extension on?
Yeah.
I mean, because, like, you know, my toes kind of line up. I know people who have their pinky toe way out here.
Yeah. Getting back to...
So, look at the...
Yeah.
What I would look at is the quality of, are they able to press their foot into the floor?
Yeah.
The detail of the pinky up, pinky down?
Yeah.
You know, what if they wore high-toed shoes for a long time and their pinky's tight? I don't,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know it.
I suppose I'm thinking rather than little toes, that this part of the foot here, can you see that on camera? This part of the foot here is actually flat on the floor as against maybe the foot being like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, again, in general, I would look for the midline of the foot to be on
Yeah.
the floor, and
Yeah.
if a toe's floating or not.
Yeah.
I personally,
Beside the point.
the anatomist, I don't care. I don't care.
Cool.
But everybody else, you can care.
You can
I-
care
it's up
about
to
that.
You.
You can care about
Up
that
to you.
pinky toe.
Yeah.